Hello and welcome everyone. I'm HatTopGaming, and once again we're back for another backlog review. Today's episode is all about the Goblin sneaking, amber consuming, and clone creating game in Styx, Master of Shadows. A game with both a story and a style of gameplay like nothing else I've ever played before. This 2014 release caught me off guard with a surprisingly deep story, while also frustrating me at times with its hard difficulty, as even the slightest amount of sounds can alert the guards and have them close down on you in an instant. Just like always, we'll be going over the same three things in story, gameplay, and performance on the Steam Deck before giving the game a rating out of 10. And make sure to stick around to the end of the video for a sneak peek of my next review. But with all that out of the way, let's begin. Starting off with the story, we awaken some dungeon, unaware of who we are or what we're supposed to do. We just wake up with our head pounding and a sudden urge to get something done. So we set out to go do it before getting captured shortly thereafter, and the game's story is revealed to us slowly via an interrogation by the city's governor. Essentially, Styx is after the heart of the tree. It's what creates amber. It's held sacred by the elves, and the humans are trying to distill it in order to make something more out of it. With the help of a number of characters, we must sneak through the city of Akanash and grab maps, keys, and whatever else we can to find our way to the heart of the tree. But what starts off as a simple task turns into a much larger conspiracy in the second half of the game. I can't get into the deeper intricacies of the story without spoiling it, but I will say as we develop a better understanding of who's, the hows, and the whats, the story does a good job of not only blooming out from there, but gets far more interesting as it continues to reveal itself and what it holds. Moving over to gameplay now, it's simple yet with layers. Styx is not a fighter. He's a hunchback goblin who's slightly bigger than Golem. He's not designed for combat. He's meant to stealth around his enemies. While you can engage in head-to-head combat, it's built around a parry and dodge system, but requires you to parry in order to land a killing blow. Assuming you can, there's a good chance enemies will swarm you and kill you anyways right after, as they'll be quickly alerted by guards shouting for backup immediately upon seeing you, meaning that the only reliable way to get kills is through sneak kills, either a muffled one that takes a few seconds, or a quick version that will cause the enemy to do one final "No!" or something like that that will alert anyone close enough to hear it. You also have some throwing knives, but at max you can only carry 3, and finding more in the open world will be difficult. You could occasionally drop chandeliers or crates on the people's heads, but you have to wait for them to get underneath it, of course, and there's only so many opportunities to actually do so. And let's not forget the fact that there are some enemies that will instantly kill you, or even better yet, aren't even killable via normal methods. And again, the game is built around avoiding combat, and the combat itself is rather obtuse and difficult by design. But like I said, this game is built around stealth. While you can engage in combat, you are discouraged from doing so. Not because you can't, but because of the fact that the game actively knows that. I mean, look at Styx. He's not exactly going to beat a guy with this shield and sword and armor. Not really, anyways. So of course the game gives you a few specific but very helpful tools to sneak around. You can go invisible for short periods of time if you have enough amber level, with amber vision which can help identify different pathways or ledges you can care about to that maybe you missed. You can create clones of yourself which can be used as distractions or even to help you in combat to grab enemies or do minor tasks like getting into hard to reach places and pull levers or open doors that you can't reach. You can also poison food and water supplies, but admittedly, there's only so many instances in which that can actually be used. The game doesn't do a great job of explaining how visible you are, which is very much needed in a game like this. You have a marking on your shoulder that will glow bright orange when you are in cover of darkness. The brighter it glows, the more concealed you are. It can very much be trusted. The only exception being, of course, is that you can be in complete darkness, but if someone walks right in front of you, I mean, they're going to see you, of course. The enemy AI is very good in my opinion. I was playing on hard difficulty, which I recommend as it made the guards feel much more authentic and realistic. They did a good job of tracking sounds I made, locating me and following me if seen, looking in hiding places I might be in, and overall presented a good challenge that really made me think about how I was going to try to clear a room. Of course, with the caveat that after looking for a bit, they would just return to their normal patrols. They are NPCs after all. The game isn't open world per se, but rather open region with level designs built around you traversing them as you please with a really good job of scale and verticality. The second half of the game really caught me by surprise when I saw just how much detail the devs put into the environment and how they plan for Styx to be able to get around without pushing you to play in any particular manner. I can really only imagine how much stuff I may have actually missed, how many other pathways it could have taken, or just different things it could have done that could have made my life a whole lot easier or a whole lot harder. From secret pathways, high beams it could be on top of, or even back alley doors to skip parts of the map. It all mixed all so well together that it really made me appreciate how much level of detail is put into each and every level. Each of the individual levels you traverse have side objectives popping up when and where they can, but be vigilant as some will only be available after you overhear someone mention something about it. The entire level is open to you from the very start, and how you go about completing your objectives is completely up to you. Thankfully, there's a very few missions where getting caught has an instant fail, but they are few and far between and make sense relative to the story. But in most cases, as long as no one's directly alerted to your presence or that of a dead body, you'll be all good. Meaning, yes, even when you're not allowed to be seen, you can still perform stealth kills and not instantly fail. Last thing now, touching performance real quick, the game ran effortlessly on Steam Deck, steady 60 frames per second, and no major bugs to report. Some small glitches like ragdolls freaking out if they fell in certain spots, otherwise no issue there. I didn't run into any real issues, and the game seemed to have a solid and firm grasp on everything it was trying to do and convey. The only real thing of note was that sometimes when you try to traverse some tighter or higher up spaces, you would get clipped by nothing. Like there would just be a small invisible wall you had to go around, which was easy enough, but they were always just in particular spots, even after reloading the save. Besides that, the game doesn't have a dedicated button for you trying to descend, so sometimes you can want to hang off a ledge, but you basically have to run off of it and then turn back around really quickly so Styx can grab back onto it. It can be really frustrating sometimes, especially when you're trying to like run away from a guard or just hop off a ledge so you're not getting seen. And trying to do so is just very awkward. Lastly, I don't know why the game lets sticks grab onto certain areas. Like for example, there will be these flaming pots you can grab onto, and you don't want to because then sticks will accidentally just jump onto them and then just end up killing him. So I don't even know why it's allowed because I ended up doing it like 3 times on accident. It was annoying just every single time. Some minor annoyances across the whole game, but again, nothing I really wanted to note. Ultimately, where do I stand with this 2014 release, and do I think it's worth playing in 2026 and beyond? Well, I think from what I've said so far, you probably have a good idea as to whether or not this game may be for you. It's very stealth heavy, and trying to fight enemies head on never really goes well. There's not many autosaves, so prepare to redo multiple long sections of the level over and over and over again until you get it right. Because you gotta really learn when to make your save points in this game. Or you could be one of those people that just save scums, but at that point, why are you playing a stealth game? The story starts off meh, so you gotta have some patience and allow it to get interesting. There is a final boss fight that is really lame in my opinion and kind of sours the overall solid ending. And once the elves get involved in the game, it has a bit more difficulty. So for the last 2 or 3 levels, there's just kind of like a difficulty spike that was not egregious, but just more so out of left field. Graphically, I think the game holds up well with its distinctive art style, and I thought the world as a whole was well made and put together. In total, I played the game for 18.8 hours and unlocked 23 of the 33 achievements along the way. I would recommend you play this game as I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. While frustrating at times, the game is designed very tightly and the game expects you to adjust to it rather than the other way around. Need to learn guard patterns, how to lure them away, or just kill them stealthily. Finding out how to get up high so I can trek across large areas without being seen, using my amber powers to make my life easier, and of course, having patience. Because trying to rush things never worked for me in this game, some minor annoyances and having limited everything really pushed me to think about how and when I would use my items, almost like a survival horror game. And like I mentioned, the story wraps up pretty well with all things considered, and I like the setup for the second game. While I generally like stealth games and stealth mechanics, this one took it much farther than any game I played previously, and I'm glad I had gotten to experience the game for myself. Normally priced at $20, that really isn't bad, but when it goes on deep sale like it usually does, it's about $2. And that's more than a steal if I've ever seen one before. But that's going to do it for me today, guys. I hope you all enjoyed today's review, and maybe I showed you a game that you probably heard of, but until now, you probably have never been convinced to play it. If you have any thoughts, comments, or concerns, let me know down in the comment section down below, and I'll be happy to get back to you as soon as I can. If you liked the video, consider liking the video and subscribing for more. Don't forget to follow me on social media to stay up to date with everything going on with the channel. I am HatTopGaming. Thanks again for tuning in, and I will see you all later. Peace.
No, not that way.
Losing our minds.
Leslie! There's something wrong with this place.
He wants out!
This is my will.